Here we are, guys. 2021 YZ125 versus the 2023 YZ125. This one today is going to represent the 2005 to 2021. They're pretty much the same bikes with modest changes here and there throughout the years. And this one's pretty much going to represent the 2022 to 2024 YZ125. The beauty of this comparison is that these bikes are not stock. Maybe if we can find the time and space, maybe we'll take them out and drag race them and see what they do. All right, here we go. The beauty of this comparison is that these bikes are not stock. That's most of your magazine reviews and videos that you watch where they compare these two bikes. They always compare them in stock form, but as you know, no one keeps their bikes stock for very long. So you know, we have some modifications done to these. Luckily enough, they're very equal. I'll run through the list of modifications real quick. The 21 here has some V-Force reeds, has a Pro Circuit pipe and silencer. The head's been rechambered. I did the heads myself on both these bikes. They're at about the same spec with about a 30,000 squish fan clearance and compression just a little bit higher than stock, about 5 psi cranking pressure. And then the ported exhaust port on the 21 here. Up in here I opened up the slits, air vents. You know, if you look at yours, you'll notice half of it's blocked off, so get a little more airflow in there. And on the 21 also added one extra tooth on the rear sprocket for it has a 49, which the 23 here has a 49 as well. That comes stock on the 23. And then on this one, the suspension still has stock valving. However, it's been sprung. Up front I have 0.44 springs, and out back I have a 4.9. And lastly, a ported exhaust port on the cylinder, although the intake ports have not been touched. And on the 23 here, it's pretty much the same thing. We have the head was rechambered by me, 30,000 squish band clearance with the compression just a click higher than stock, about 5 psi cranking pressure higher than stock. It has the Pro Circuit silencer and the Pro Circuit pipe. It comes stock with V-Force 4 reeds. As I mentioned, it has a 49 tooth rear sprocket. This one still has stock suspension, springs, and valving. If you don't already know, if you haven't watched other reviews, this bike did come with 1 step stiffer springs in stock form over the previous model. It also has slightly stiffer valving. Overall, I've ridden them already, not with the Pro Circuit pipe on this one, but when this one was closer to stock, I've ridden them, and overall the stiffness, the firmness is about equal between the two of these currently. So it's going to be a really good comparison. And also the exhaust port was polished, but the intake ports are untouched. And both of them have been jetted in. They're both jetted in really nice. The suspension's dialed in. In most reviews, when they review these bikes in stock form, the problem with testing these bikes in stock form is no one keeps them stock very long, and they kind of blossom to be totally different than stock once you start doing some modifications to them. And you know, oftentimes, this one right here has been compared to the KTM quite a bit throughout the years. But in stock form, it came with a really thick air filter and a silencer that was like, it came out way out to here. You know, but once you swap out the air filter and silencer, the bike would become a totally different bike. But the magazine reviewers weren't doing that. They were just testing stock for stock. So because both of these have been modified to a mild level, but what your average rider or racer is probably going to do, that's going to show what these can, how these can perform once they've been uncorked a little bit. Let's get this review started. First tester we have here today is Liz. She's 14 years old. She races FTR Junior Girls. She's going to first try out the 2023. Yeah, she rides a KTM 125 currently. she's gonna take this one out. Let's see what she thinks about it.
Oh, this thing's small. Okay, you want me to follow him or? Yeah, follow him.
It's no bottom end though. It probably has less bottom than yours. It's a lot of top end. You probably like that one better.
That just threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
Almost got my head ripped off by a vine I didn't see. Definitely odd.
Odd? Okay.
Yeah, it kind of threw me for a whirl.
Both the bikes or just one?
Definitely both. I stalled out more in that one. I'm just not used to having to be so in gear that much. I'm used to being able to bog a little bit.
Okay.
Not a lot of bottom end.
Oh no.
So they don't have a lot of bottom end. Okay.
They're really lightweight.
They're lightweight?
They
Okay.
move. They definitely move.
So they're fast?
Yeah, they're moving.
Nice. How do they compare, the two of them?
I'd say you have to stay more in the power band for this one right here.
This one doesn't have as much bottom, you think?
No.
Okay. That's interesting.
Which one do you like better?
Which one do you like better?
If you had to take one home today.
Yeah, if you took one home today.
If I had to take one home today.
Not by looks, by how they feel.
I don't know, I'd probably take that one home.
The new one. All right, so she picks that one.
A little bit, yeah, probably, but that could have been just because I was tired from it.
That bike, it could have been.
How do you feel about the
3
suspension?
times on that.
How do you feel about the suspension on them?
I don't really know. They felt pretty similar.
That's a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good thing. I figured they would be. Which one felt faster overall?
Ooh, I don't know. I kind of messed up a lot on both. If I didn't mess up so much, probably that one. That one's probably faster if you're a good rider, which isn't me.
Okay. All right. But overall, you preferred the 23.
Yeah. I felt like I had a little bit more control over it.
A little more control. Okay.
Yeah.
How about the body work, the plastic, the seat, because they're different.
One of those is extremely more skinny, and I can't remember which one it was.
It's probably the 23. So she thinks the 23 is significantly more skinny. And did you like that skinniness?
I stand up a lot. Probably not if I sat down.
Okay. I had another question for you too. I can't remember what it was. Oh, this one feels taller to me than this one. How do you feel?
I don't know. I'm a pretty tall person.
Oh yeah, if you stand up a lot, you probably won't notice it.
Yeah, I didn't notice too much of a difference in height. Yeah,
Okay.
no, don't think so.
Okay.
This is very much of skinnier bike between one of them.
Yeah, it's definitely a newer one over there. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Liz.
Yeah.
All right, me and my brother are gonna take them out, both out same time, and we'll swap bikes mid-ride, and let's get our own impression of how they feel. Okay, my back-to-back is finished. In my opinion, they're both very, very similar in the motor department. Definitely, they feel totally different, but they're very similar as far as what they're going to give you, overall output and everything like that. It just feels different. This one seems like it can hang on to the top end a little bit better, a little bit stronger at the very top. It does come with a little bit more vibrations up there, but you know that happens on some bikes. And in my opinion, this one might seem like it has a little more in the upper mid, but otherwise they're really similar. Suspension wise, this one's a little bit softer, a little bit more compliant to the stroke. That one stays up higher in the stroke pretty consistently. At lower speeds, at lower speeds, I wish it feels a little more like that one, but once you get up in the higher speeds, it comes into its territory, and feels like you can trust it a little bit more at real high speeds if you dig in a G out or land in a heavy hole or something. But still, even then, it's kind of splitting hairs. They're both, so far, they're both really good. But let's see what my brother has to say.
There you go. Okay, you can ask the questions.
Oh, shoot. Your face at you now.
I know.
Okay. Hey, what's your comparison? Keep it close to your mouth.
Yeah, hang on. This is probably a little crisper. At one time at the track, I thought this was actually, how can you say it? Okay, I think that one pulls longer. And I wouldn't say it revs higher, but for some reason it feels like that one pulls longer. You come out of the corner, it's just got that rush stretch to it. Where this one comes in a little sooner, but it seems like it signs off sooner. Although the RPM sound is high,
Yeah.
I can't get my finger on that because I know they got the same gearing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that too.
No,
I noticed that mainly on that section that I've been running
I'd
on.
say for me, it just feels like that one hangs on to the top better.
Okay. Because that one definitely jets out eventually down, halfway down the little straight coming out of the corner. All of a sudden it's got this little jet to it, you know?
Yeah.
Where yours is like, all of a sudden it came to its closure and you just go for another gear.
Yeah, I would say that jet off that you're talking about happens a little bit earlier in this one. And then it has
Yeah,
the same rush
I did
feel.
notice that last
it
time.
just comes in sooner and it kind of.
Yeah, I noticed that last time when we rode at Date City, but I didn't notice that as much this time.
Yeah.
Obviously things are different out here.
Yeah, I'm noticing it, but yeah.
And also, this may have more mid-range, but I swore that thing gave me a nasty bog.
Yeah, it can do that.
Yeah. Otherwise, I used to think this motor's better, and now I think they're equal. That one came a little bit now.
Which one's that?
The newer one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to think the older one was better, and that's kind of good because I was poo-pooing on that one for a while.
Yeah.
And it ain't that it's better to my liking. It's just it does everything you need,
Yep.
And at one time it didn't. And people like to know stock. I'll tell you a little bit about that bike stock. Stock, the head is shit.
23?
The 23. The head is shit. Everyone's chasing jets. You can chase jets to the cow. The problem with this stock head is it's almost 2 power bands. You enter the power band, then it dips for a second, and then it comes to life again at the very, very top. And yeah, it's rich off the bottom. Everyone knows that. But really, it's that gap that was getting me. And you just can't really fix that unless you do something about the head. I mean, I jetted the stock one last weekend, and there's only so much you can do with the jetting.
Okay.
You can lean them out. They'll run erratic, and you'll think they're quicker. And
So the real fix is the head, you're saying?
yeah, you at least got to rechamber it. You got to.
Yeah, if you want to run.
They come to
The old one, I would say the old one, bone stock, the head will perform good. It works. Obviously, if you want more and cleaner power, you got to do the head.
Yeah, but they're selling these at European standard, the
Yeah.
23s. And as you know from the YZ125, they come with really garbage heads for shitty fuel.
Yeah, for Europe.
You can
right?
edit that language out.
Yeah, no worries.
Otherwise, the suspension, this is definitely sits a little lower, a little more compliant. Actually, it does pretty good. It does really good in switchback corners. I was struggling a little with that one. Of course, I also.
Okay, you're talking about the 21.
Yeah, 21 does a little better in like little switchbacks and all that, trying to get a grip on it going into the corner. But then after that, as soon as I start hitting stuff hard, it was just just digging deep on me, deeper than I like.
Okay.
You're probably used to that. I'm probably heavier.
Yeah.
I weigh 155. I'm probably weighting it down. I'm not really a 125 rider either. So that's my opinion. Body work, I didn't even notice it, man.
Yeah, I do notice. I notice the newer one's a little taller when I sit down mainly.
When I'm fighting to stay on the bike, I'm not noticing that.
Yeah. Or when I go into a sandy corner, and if the front end does start to knife, I get the taller front end, or the taller 23 can cause the knife to kind of accelerate a little bit quicker. Where the lower.
That right there, guys, that's a ladies' man. I mean, he pulls more chicks than anybody. You'd be surprised. Don't doubt that guy. See, it's that. It's right there.
It's the smile.
That Joe Cool look.
That one does seem to be a little more top end oriented, without a doubt. Although it is strange that the female Liz, she thought that one had more bottom end. I never ride them in the bottom end, so I really, they feel about the same to me.
Well, you could feel that has a flywheel weight added to the flywheel, and you could feel that off the very bottom. It's less likely to stall.
Okay,
That's
maybe
why
what
she
she's
stalled
feeling.
yours a few times. I noticed that in yours when I got it in the basement.
Yeah.
Yours like that, where at least like you can at least give it throttle and keep the bike going until you get shit in order.
Yeah.
Where your bike, when you end up like that, you go and just start.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't consider that. This one does come with the heavier flywheel weight stock, the 22 to 24.
Really in the basement.
Yeah, you notice that when you're in the basement. See, I never get in the basement, so that stuff never really jumps out at me.
I didn't downshift on that tight turn in the back. I didn't downshift enough. And
Yeah.
I ended up in the basement on it, and that's when yours like it actually bogged on me. Remember I told you about that's what
Yeah.
it did.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just they I don't know. Maybe they're making it broader range riders. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, that one does. I mean, it seems to be more rev oriented. This one for me, it revs just as high, and it's just as satisfying up there. I don't. When I'm on it, I don't think I need any more up there. It's just as satisfying. It's just when I get on that one, it seems like when I get it up to the top, it just seems to hang on better. Like if I stuff it into something heavy while I'm up at the top end, it's less likely to get the motor to get pulled down. It seems like it's going to fight a little bit harder up there. And sometimes it seems like that one revs higher than this one, and then sometimes it doesn't seem like it revs higher than this one. So I'm still a little mixed on that one. Yeah, I mean, they both rev out high. I give it that. They just feel differently the way they do it. All right, Caleb just took them both out. What do you think?
They both have their goods and the bads. Like yours is better for an end, but
Mine, which one's mine? The 21, right? Yeah. Okay.
21.
Mine does what better?
has a better front end in my opinion.
Front end?
Yeah, in the sand,
Okay.
it feels like it grips a lot better in the front end.
Okay.
While the other bike, it's more planted, if that makes sense. So the 23 is more planted, but yours is a lot more front end.
Okay. How about the motor?
The motor, yours has like the 21 has no bottom end.
No bottom end. That's,
Like-
you're the second person to say that.
Because like my father or the 23, you could let it idle for a second and it won't just instantly die. It doesn't idle good either.
Okay,
The 21 doesn't idle as good as the 23 in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I got the idle set low.
That's
yeah.
probably why. But it feels like it doesn't have as much as a bottom end. But like the 23 feels more leveled out. Like it has a lot of top end too, but it feels more like a gradual incline, not like a
sharp spike.
yeah.
Okay. How about the top end power? How do you think they compare?
They're almost the same.
Almost the same.
I got into it in both corners and they're about the same in my opinion.
Okay.
Through the sand and through the little hard pack on the other side of the trims, yeah.
Yeah, they feel different though, don't they? Up top.
Yeah, they feel slightly different.
How do they feel different?
Yours is more.
The 21.
21 is more. I would say more like it hits you slightly harder than the other one. Like if you go onto the front end or top end,
Yeah.
you're on the top end. It hits you a little bit sharper than the 23.
Okay.
That's what I feel.
So the 23 is like smoother up top, you'd say?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more newcomer welcome. If that makes sense.
Friendly. Okay, because it doesn't have a spike.
Yeah.
Okay. But it does have like a little bit of vibration up top, right?
Yep.
Versus the old one.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that vibration bother you or no?
Forearm rise, yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Because like the vibration is not a big issue, of course.
Okay.
It's not gonna like ruin your riding, but for me, with the arm pump, it definitely gets there for me. Because I grip a little bit harder.
Okay. Gotcha.
What about brakes?
Yeah. What about brakes? We haven't talked about the brakes yet.
Brakes. Why? There's a different brake setup on
Yeah, the 23, I guess I didn't explain that in the video here. The 23 does have a bigger front brake and a revised rear brake. There are both
More pad material.
yeah, more pad material on the rear and a bigger rotor up front and more material up front. But did you feel a difference in the brakes?
So the 21, I did use a front, and both of them I used a front and back brake, at least in the sand corner over there, the second one we went through.
Yep.
The newer one definitely has better brakes in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
It's even with a slight amount of pressure, you will be slowing down a lot quicker than the 20.
Yeah, it's got a little more bite to it.
Yeah,
a little more bite.
Right.
Okay.
To the odor.
I will add though, being because they're both 125s, they both stop really well.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like if you got a 21, you're going to be stopping slower than anyone else. I think it's just more about you got more initial bite with the 23 and.
The brakes are not a deal maker.
Yeah, it's not. The brakes are not a deal maker or breaker, but the newer one definitely does have a little more bite to it, a little more power overall. But they're both 125, so they're going to stop faster than you really even want them to. What else can you add to it? How do you think about the body work? One feel taller than the other or anything?
I have to say riding back and forth, I feel like the 23 fits better for me.
Okay. But how tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Okay.
While the other bike was more like wide, the 21 is more a little right at the hip area.
Wide at the hip,
Like
like.
in like your leg to right here is a little bit
Okay.
wider. Just-
Okay, a little bit wider there. Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, you can even visually see which one is wider by just looking at it.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with that for sure. All right. How about suspension?
suspension,
Yeah.
they feel because both of you guys are about the same rate. They feel about the same, honestly. They were
He's clapping out either way.
Yeah. How much you weigh?
200.
Oh, there you go.
I actually 190, but close enough.
He don't know. He just knows bottom
No,
bottom out, back up the top. Bottom out,
Going
back up
through
top.
going through the whoops, it caused me no issue. No matter what speed I was going.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that. They both definitely handle the whoops
like,
well.
even if they are bottoming out, I'm not really noticing. I mean, probably more advanced riders can, but I
Yeah.
don't really notice it. So
Which
Okay.
motor do you think's faster if there is one faster? And next question is, which bike do you like better?
I have to go with yours again because it feels better to me.
So you like the 23 better?
Yeah, the only thing the 21 has to it is the front end, like I was talking about, like on body wise, like
Yeah.
riding it.
Yeah, the front end definitely has more traction going in the corner. The
Yeah.
forks are better settled. They're the same front end, so I mean, it's the only thing
And the
that's
bike
separated.
that's probably faster, I'll probably say the 21.
Okay.
The 23, it could probably definitely get there.
Yeah.
But I feel like the 21 might have a slight edge.
You remember the 21 with stock pipe, or 23 with stock pipe?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell Chris or them that the 23 with the stock pipe actually feels faster.
Yeah.
It does. Does it not?
Yeah, it does actually.
So the
feel
23 with the stock pipe feels faster than the Pro Circuit.
faster. Yeah.
It actually has that hit that the 21 has.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Yeah.
I remember because I got on it and it almost tossed me off.
Yeah.
It caught me right
The
off
Pro
guard.
Circuit pipe actually makes the bike deceiving.
Yeah, because the Pro Circuit pipe looks like it just rounds it out a little bit better. Just so like if you're a newer rider, it won't just be like I said spiking you off the back of the bike or catching you off guard. Well, it just kind of goes into it instead.
So
It builds-
more linear power.
Yeah,
It
has
is more linear.
more
It
gravity.
linear, I
makes
mean.
the bike feel slower, but
It has the same speed.
It has
It's-
the same speed because in the end, you actually once you start getting up in the speed, about fourth year, you start feeling it. 23, it starts
Yeah.
peeling you back a little bit, more so than the stock pipe. But the stock pipe, as soon as you came out of the corner, it was
It was
on.
in your face, yeah.
Yeah, it was more like your bike.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right.
So that's something to consider when you. I honestly, I think the 23 has a better stock pipe than the 21. Stock pipe.
Yeah, maybe
Per
21.
package.
The 21 had a pretty good stock pipe, but it was
I rode
the problem with the 21 is that it already comes with a good strong mid-range and it has a pipe that makes it good. And you're looking for more top. I was looking for more top, so it's just stacking on top of whatever I already had, you know.
Yeah.
Where I believe the 23 is more set up for top end out the box, and then they just shove the mid-range pipe on it.
I really don't think the Pro Circuit added power to the 23. I know MXA says it gives it extra horse and a half. I'm not really feeling that, but it does give it more throttle control and smoother.
Okay.
And once you get used to that, it has a quality to it. And
Yeah.
That's all I can say about it.
All right, let me see if I can find another test rider.
Put
And
this fat ass on it.
yeah. And maybe if we can find the time and space, maybe we'll take them out and drag race them and see what they do.
Oh, great brake transmission.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. All right, let me see if I can find another rider. All right, Natasha is going to take it out for a test ride. She's going to take out the 23. She currently owns a 19. She's ridden the 21, but now she's going to try out the 23. So let's get her take on it.
I don't see how this could be that a review would be accurate after a 5-minute ride.
It's called first impression.
It feels very loosey-goosey.
Loosey-goosey.
But this is compared to mine, right? So-
Yeah.
And then these levers are obviously tighter, but maybe strictly because it's newer, right? So
Could be because it's newer.
Then also like really good brakes, like
Good brakes. All right.
So I don't know if that's newness.
Well, yeah. No, it has better.
And something feels wider.
Actually feels wider.
I do have radial brakes on it.
Okay. Well, you notice the brakes, so you're doing good because it does have updated brakes. How about the motor?
Beats me.
Beat you?
Yeah.
So far, better brakes, a little bit looser in the steering area, and that's about all you have.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it, Natasha. Bye. I mean, I'm gonna kind of call it a tie. I know there's once or twice you got me, and once or twice I got you, but it seemed pretty tied out.
It's hard to stack things up in sugar sand.
Yeah, that's true.
On the same
Yeah, it is
displacement.
sugar sand on the same. And not only that, what you get on the drag race is often different than what you get on a track too. Obviously, you know. not always the bike that drag races the best is going to feel like the most powerful is going around the track.
They got a whole shot map and a track map.
Yep, that's why they have a whole shot map and a track map. But just wanting to see for you YouTubers out there, the guys, I know there's some people that honestly believe this bike is obsolete, the 2021. I don't think it is. Obviously this is the latest and greatest right over here, and one of the things I would like to cover is parts. You can still get every part for this bike. They're everywhere. Since they made it from 01 to 2020, I mean 05 to 2021, they are everywhere. Nothing's on back order for the most part. You can get anything and everything you need. How many more years? I do not know. You know, usually after a bike gets, you know, they stopped making this in 21, right? And they made the X in 22, still using this motor. But usually about 10 years after they stop making a bike, the parts kind of start drying up a little bit. So, you know, keep that in mind. We got until about 2031 on this one, and it's going to kind of be a little bit obsolete. I mean, really obsolete when it comes to getting parts. This one is the latest and greatest. The problem with that is whenever you have a brand new model that comes out, the people that are racing these bikes, and there's a lot of people racing these bikes. I've been to Loretta's, I've seen the schoolboy class over there and stuff like that.
I mean, if you don't plan on doing nothing to the suspension, if you're that type of person, 23 hands down.
Yeah, if you're not going to do anything to the suspension, you just want to buy and ride, 23 for sure.
You will have to work on the motor.
Yeah, you will have to do a little work on the motor, at least the head. That's my suggestion. Get the head done.
If you don't really want to work on the motor a whole lot, but you're okay with working on the suspension, buy it done.
Yeah, if you don't want to work on the motor a lot and you're okay with working on suspension, changing springs and stuff, get 21's going to be for you. If you don't want to work on suspension but you don't mind doing a little bit of motor work, 23 is probably going to be for you. But as far as getting parts, the issue with these is whenever a bike's new model and everyone's racing it, the racers and the race teams and the race families, they buy multiple of everything. They'll buy 5 cranks in one sitting. They'll buy 5 cylinders in one sitting. The reason being is because if you're out on a race, crank goes out, you go to order one, it's on back order. So and the reason they're on back order is because they are all buying 5 at a time, but that's just how it is. It's a race to get the parts as well as it is a race to the checkered flags. That causes parts to dry out pretty quick, and a lot of times when you need stuff, it will be on back order.
The power band, I think, of the new one feels broader.
The newer one,
The actual power band itself feels a little bit broader.
Okay.
I noticed that mainly not going down dirty, sandy stretches, going from section to section. It just seems like it's got more. Where you start out to where you end, it's got a little bit more of a gap between.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think this one definitely comes in a hair bit later, but then it makes up for it when it comes in.
Yeah,
with like a hit.
It just cuts me short though.
Yeah.
And I actually got used to that on that bike when I'm bobbing sections. It always seems like you got a little more up there.
Yeah,
even
on the
when it's in
23.
RPMs, you know, even when it's up high, you can always get more RPMs out of it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a little bit better up in the revs.
Motocross in that way.
Yeah, when you keep it up in the revs.
Right, and that, because I've learned to use that on that, but you probably don't notice that because you have, once you're not used to it, you don't use that part of it.
Yeah.
But once you get used to that, you notice it when you don't have it.
No, I can feel it when I'm holding it pinned, like out here going through the rockers and stuff. I'm coming into a corner, and I just got to get one more quick bam to get that punch going, that last rocker going into the corner. It does have more, where that one just wants to go just rub out a little bit further, but this one will actually go bang.
Yeah, it'll give you a little squirt
right,
every time.
Right.
And that's something after I got used to that, I got on yours, it just seemed like it was drying up top. Every time I get it up there, when I, like I said, get that little squirt out, like you said, yours would do it, but it's just not really, it's not pushing you.
Right. You can tell it's not quite over rev, but it's starting to act like the over rev. But and where that one doesn't quite, that one actually doesn't, I don't even know if that one has over rev. I think it just revs till it stops.
That's the only attribute I would compliment that motor better.
The 23, right?
Yeah, than that one.
Than 21, okay.
Right. I think if you're really hauling tail, that might be a better motor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the YouTubers out there, I will say too, I honestly think that bike with further mods is going to go further than this one. And that's what Yamaha had in mind when they put the longer rod in there.
Yeah, with that said, the old motor's a great motor. I mean,
yeah, the old motor's a hard one to beat.
It's a good package.
Yeah,
it's just not quite as racy up top.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, when you start really pushing the mods, or you take the head to the next level where you have to have 100% race feel, from what I'm hearing, that one runs cooler, doesn't need as much octane at them level. Yeah, the new one doesn't need as much octane, runs cooler. It's going to survive better on a long, hard moto when it's at max effort. Where the 21 at max effort, you're going to have to throw a lot of octane at it, and maybe even rich jet and keep it alive. Because in my opinion, they set the 21 up to favor more of the guy that's going to leave it a little bit closer to stock, and that's why it does good stock and even close to stock. And in my opinion, the 22 to 24 is more set up for the guy that's really going to set it go all out, take it to Loretta's and race and stay alive. The bike will
I
stay
didn't
alive.
think I'd like it, but the 8mm bolt to remove the seat is actually a blessing in disguise.
Oh yeah, to
That
get the
one
seat
little
off.
bolt?
Yeah, one bolt instead of two.
Yeah, you don't have to push in your number plates and line all that crap up.
That's
Just
true.
one bolt slide up and off. I just checked the filter, you know, and it's like no big deal. The
Yeah,
real one,
one
if I'm gonna
bolt.
check it, I'm replacing it, you know, because you're already, you know, it's just work.
Yeah. Plus, it's easier even to slide that seat off, because this one right here, I scratched the rear fender with the two metal tabs. When I go to lift it off, you scratch the number plates. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
It's kind of a pain in the butt in that aspect.
Yeah, and the brakes on the new one, if you like doing endos,
Yeah, the
the
new
new
one,
one will do endos. It'll put
definitely.
you over the bars.
definitely better brakes, without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, not the problem, but the thing is them brakes were actually, in my opinion, were designed for the 450. I had the 450,
Yeah.
the same generation.
Yeah, they were
And
meant to carry the weight of
They
a
were meant to
450.
carry the weight of the 450, right? And their first brakes, they were actually meant to be only on basically the 450 brakes.
Yeah, but
And then they put it on the 125.
we've always said in the past that, like in 2006, when everyone was riding 450s, we always said them are 125 brakes on a 450. Now they're actually giving us 450 brakes on a 125.
Yeah, and
So-
out here you don't really feel it, but when you're in a grass field and you hunker it down for what it's worth, or anything hard packer, dude, that's actually too much fun.
Yeah. Now, Liz, a minute ago you said that they were very similar, right?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same. Okay.
One's just very skinny. I can't remember which one it was.
It's the
One was
23.
Very skinny.
Yeah, the first one.
She thinks the 23 is very
When
skinny.
you got off of it, that's the first thing you told me. You're like, oh my god, this bike's so small. And I was like, really?
Yeah, you did say that the first time you got off the 23.
Real skinny. It's just really uncomfortable to sit on.
Now, what model is your KTM again?
It's the XC125.
Okay. So that's why you probably felt like these didn't have much bottom end
Yeah.
versus yours.
Not only that, I can just like lug on that one. That one's more made for woods. Those are track bikes.
Okay. You don't want a track bike?
No.
Yeah, you do really well on that bike.
Yeah.
I do really bad on those. Whatever y'all see on that video, it did not happen.
Yeah, you had the GoPro on. We're going to see it all. How about you, Caleb? What else you got to add on this review? This wonderful review.
He's like, I want my 250 back.
Yeah, what are you riding today, by the way? Tell the world.
A 2017 250 two-stroke.
Okay.
Long stock beside springs.
Yeah.
Soft beside springs.
Is that the bike that you almost ran over my leg?
Was it?
Yeah, back there when that quad jumped at us. But anyway,
Oh yeah.
what would you like to add about these two bikes?
With like 10 hours.
They're both.
Brandon bike.
I don't know. I mean, like depending on your skill level, I would honestly say the 21 is probably slightly more advanced.
Okay.
But you could get the 23 to be outrageous, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like on natural, like on a basic line, that probably better for advanced. But if you're willing to put so much money into your bike to modify it, the 23 is way to go.
Okay, so I think what you're saying is that the 21 will come into its own a little bit quicker and easier, where the 23 you can push it a little bit further, but it takes a little bit more work.
Yep.
All right, on the 23 here, there's been a lot in the forums questioning the jetting, trying to get it jetted right. It really doesn't come jetted that well in stock form, but I'm going to hand the camera to my brother here and let him talk about what he has done to the jetting. Well, personally, I know a lot of people like tossing crazy jets at these things, like the JD Jet Kit, which brings it closer to what a YZ125 is. And I would agree with that, except for one thing. I can't think of a single time that Yamaha has sent a bike out with shit-ass jetting from the factory in 20 years or more.
Yeah.
It ain't a Honda, you know. So I kept that in mind, and honestly, the pilot on these are generally a little lean. You can tell, and it lacks mid-range because of that. And the pilot's a little rich. The main's lean. It lacks a little bit of mid, and the pilot's obviously a little bit rich, but it's only off by 1 or 2 jets.
So what have you stumbled on? What are you currently using?
A 70 pilot, I believe, and a 165 main. So I went up on the main, went down the pilot, and trust me, I tried a lot of main jets out. The pilot was pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. As soon as you went down one, played the air screw, it was nice and crisp. Good enough.
Where you got the air screw at?
3 turns.
3 turns. Okay.
Yes, 3 turns.
And how about the needle? stock position.
Okay.
Yep. And but then again, it's also the head's been addressed. But I did mess with a bone stock one last weekend, and it seemed to respond relatively the same.
Okay.
So people are throwing a lot of crazy jets in. The bike, I mean, it's not fuel injection. You know, you're never gonna make it fuel injection. And if you go too lean, it's just too lean. Plain and simple. You know, I mean, you could try to clean it up, but then you end up way too lean. And you're gonna notice that up in the high RPMs when you go to tip back in the throttle.
Yeah.
If your pilot's too lean, and as soon as you go to tip back in the throttle, I don't care what RPMs you're at, you can actually feel the pilot.
Yep.
In my opinion, on a key-in.
Right.
And a lot of people aren't aware of that. A lot of people think, oh, the pilot's only for the very bottom. In key-ins, I found that to be opposite. The pilot works all the way through the whole board.
Yep.
This one, I'll speak on this one real quick. These bikes you don't have to go too far from stock, no matter what. I mean, currently I'm running a 430 main and stock needle, stock position, 37.5 pilot, and the air screw at 2.75 of a turn. They come jetted in stock real well, and then as you start stacking on the mods, it doesn't really go far away from stock jetting. In the heat of the summer, when it's really, really, really humid, I might run a 420. In the winter, it might go up to a 440, but you know, that's about where it's at. And really, the only biggest difference is getting that pilot down to 37.5, and that seems to do the trick.
Well, you know, I think Yamaha tried a different approach with this, a little bit different, but they had their reason.
On the 23?
Yeah. There's some people that love the JD Jet Kit approach, and some people that hate it, absolutely hate it, and said it's garbage. You know, I think Yamaha was trying to fill in a certain void because this does have a power jet in it.
Yeah.
And they knew what they were doing. You got to realize they don't just throw jets on these bikes. Yes, it's not set up for your altitude and your temperature and all that, but it is set up for real world conditions right from the factory. Generally Yamahas are only 1 or 2 jets off. If you keep that in mind, if you end up way off the charts, it's not a combination on a safe. You're not going to run across something magical. You just got to clean it up where it's at, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the real fix for this one, like we mentioned earlier, is the cylinder head. If you're looking to clean it up and make it just run cleaner.
Yeah, once you address the cylinder head, your jetting will speak to you. You're not going to be just throwing crazy brass at it.
Yeah, not only that, they definitely gain some bottom and mid with the head too. That the bike seemed.
Yeah, mainly in mid. They transitioned to the top end much faster, much cleaner.
I would say in stock form, this bike, if you fall off the pipe, and it can almost feel like it goes backwards, like the old CR125.
Oh, there's a dip in the power curve. Matter of fact, when you edit this, take a picture of that guy's video where he has a dyno curve.
Yeah.
And you can actually see that dip in the dyno curve.
Yep.
And you can feel that on.
Yeah, you feel it. It feels like it goes backwards, but I believe the head really addresses that once you get the head right.
Well, yeah, once you get that right, then you won't be complaining about the jetting too much. You'll actually find the stock jetting
pretty damn close.
Pretty close. A little lean up top if you're in Florida, you know, and a little rich on the bottom, and that's it.
Yep.
So,
all right,
I imagine they R&D'd this with a better cylinder head, and then they probably had to say, oh, we need to be able to run crappy octane in Europe because, you know, Europe gets crap for gas.
Yep. So they had to start dropping the compression and stuff.
Yeah, and it just probably stayed that way.
Yep.
So it honestly, the motor's not quite finished. From the factory. It's one of my opinions.
Yeah, it's not as polished from the factory as the older one was. But I do believe it does have more potential overall when it's all said and done. But, okay. It's Monday morning, back in the shop, doing a top end on a KX85. But that's a wrap for the YZ125 Shootout, the 2021 versus the new 2022 to 2024. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're not a subscriber and you enjoy this kind of stuff, you can click subscribe. To all my subscribers out there, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Hope you guys had a great weekend of riding. Next weekend we'll be racing the FTR race over in Bartow. That's going to be really good. I'm going to be taking the YZ125 out for that one. But yeah, the review is really good. It was interesting to see the differences between the two bikes and the similarities. As you can see, they're a little bit different, but very similar at the same time. I would say if you have one of these 05s to 2021s and it's doing you good, hey, continue to ride it. It's still a great bike. And if you buy one, the price is right, it's a great bike. if you have the 2022 to 2024, that's a great bike. This bike's still young. She's got about maybe 70 hours on her now, so I'll continue to run this one for a little while longer, and then I myself will grab me a 2022 to 2024 and get to work on that. You'll see videos on that as I try to figure out how to get even more out of them. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and enjoy the credits coming up. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya. Out for this. Let's go get warmed up.